This is the model. So this actually on the right is Michelle Wee, which, you know, I think she swings it pretty good. And then on the left is you. So this is kind of showing all of, like, the 3D data that you've got, like, with your body. So a few things that I want to highlight, mostly with your chest sway numbers and your pivot. So, and it kind of goes a little bit with that hinging that we were working on yesterday. So as you go back, if you want to look at this, oopsies. You want to look at this chest number and pelvis, right? We're going to kind of pay attention to those. So as you go back, what you're going to see is you do a nice job of, as it goes back, you're going to see how that your pelvis will kind of sway to the right, right? Which is good. And then at the top, it's going to recenter to 0. But you can see that your pelvis, so what it's like if you have this little stick, right? So like as it's going back, right, you've loaded into your trail side, and then it's recentered. So like your pelvis, like the center of your pelvis is like the same spot, which is what you want. However, when you look at that, you can see that your chest, right, is 1.7 inches in front of the ball, right? And at the same time, you can also see that you've turned 92 degrees at the top, which is quite a bit. Tour average max is usually about 86, right? So essentially what you've done is you've taken it back and your center's here, but your chest is like this and over rotated. That makes sense? So whereas if you look at the model, right, on this side, you can see when the model goes back, they're going to kind of push into their trail side, right? That pelvis is moving. Then she recenters, right? And see how her chest is 1 inch back, right? So if this is the top of the chest and this is my belt, right? My chest is 1 inch down, which is why at the top we want like 10 to 15 degrees of side of bend, right? Or if I say like, hey, try to get your chest to work down. So a lot of times when you have a player that's more this way, that's going to aid in them coming more steep. And when it's more this way, that's going to have more tilt. And obviously all sports like have tilt. Like a pitcher has tilt. You know, Geno Smith, when he's throwing his bombs right now, has tilt, right? So we want to have that thing. So if you look at the video here, and I'll put like an exaggerated model just so you can see this, because he really tilts. So posture looks way better today. See that? Like yesterday you were much further back. But you can see that, see how Tony's got this tilt, right? He almost has too much tilt in a sense, right? So he's going to be turning, right? So you can see how left arm parallel, which is what we've been working on. The shaft is leveraged. And then you can see how his chest is behind his belt buckle this way, right? And if we watch yours, let's see how your hinging is. So still need to be hinging more. Isn't that crazy how you go, I think I'm doing it, I did it, right? Right? It felt like you did, right? But we've got to go like we've got to hinge this thing 90 degrees. And that's why your shoulder turn goes so long, is because when you stop, like when you get to here, which you can see like the angle of your shoulder, like look at his, see how his shoulders are 86 degrees, oh, yeah. Right? So very, very, to be honest, I don't see a whole lot of players that actually have shoulder turns that are under 90. I know that's like something you read about a lot, like make a big shoulder turn. But what happens for the players, they go like this, and they think they're making a shoulder turn, but really they're just arching their back, and it puts a ton of pressure on your lower lumbar and lower back issues. So now, when you should stop here, you can see your hands are basically in the same spot outside your eyes. You have no leverage in your wrists. So now you're going to have to keep turning and turning and turning, right? And then it gets like real kind of back behind you. And then coming down, right? So then it dumps, right? So that's why, I guess in some sense, it should be a lesson, because we dabbled with this yesterday for, what, 15, 20 minutes, is the fact that if you try to think and feel like you're doing it, you're not doing it. Right, which is why when you're practicing, you have to go through program, block, random, compete. But in your block practice, it has to be perfect. Otherwise, you can't like feel like you're doing it because you felt like you were doing it. You have to have like an answer key. I always give the example, it's kind of like if I said to the person like, hey, what's 700 divided by 2 times 12 divided by 6 times 11 times 2 divided by 12 times 6, you could have an idea and be like, I feel like the answer is 12. Yeah. Well, like, just because you feel it, you need a guide, you need an answer key to tell you whether or not you did it right.
Of course, it's 8,630.
What if it was? That'd be amazing. Right? Yeah. So, and then that's a little bit better though than yesterday, but you can kind of see, look at how much lean he's got in the shaft here too. Because he can kind of see how his right elbow is way more in front. So he's taking it back, he's got his tilt. So now he's hinged it, right? So now his arms can be more in front of his body. So now his arms can get down in front of his body, and then he can lean the shaft. Whereas you're like this, and you do the old adage of like low and slow, right? And then you keep turning, and then you weight hinge, your elbow gets stuck, and then you go flipperooski. Okay? So now we need to go through a program. So we got to program the system of what we want today, and then we block station it. And then we'll kind of go through it slower and then randomize it and compete it. Okay? Then I'm kind of waggling it. See how I can waggle it right up to my wrists? Yep. I'm not like a special talent to be able to do that. It's just knowing that my wrists are soft enough, so I don't have enough, my grip pressure is soft enough. My grip is in my fingers, right? So I can hammer a club because I can create a lot of speed. So I'm setting up with my tilt. I'm waggling it up the wall, right? And then I'm getting the bag to go to the right. Right? There you go. So see, like there's like your door frame drill. Yeah, and then up. Good. And then bag to the right. Good. There. See how the face is square? Mm-hmm. So that kind of looks like Tony. Good. So set up, take it back. Good. And then right. Good. So your arm gets so trapped, then your elbow gets stuck in your side. The club has to go, like it's not stopping. Because it weighs 80 pounds when you swing it at 100 miles an hour, and you are a beast. So you swing it fast, it comes down, your elbow gets stuck, the club keeps going, and then your release habit's like this. Because your arm, like it has nowhere to go. So if we can keep your arms more in front of your body, right? So it's more like in front of your chest, because like I said yesterday, like a tour player only has 11 degrees of adduction. So if you're here, now my arm can get in front, and then I can compress it. Some players like the feeling, take the club, like grip it right down here for me. Like put your grip way close. Now getting your setup there. So you're here, right? So they feel like as it's going down back, they're running it down their leg. See that? Mm-hmm. So that's the hinging. And then you're up to the top. So there's the top. And then you drive the handle. So see, that's the shallow, right? And then as it's coming down, there's the squaring. And then you're just turning and then folding. It's like if you're on the course and you're just kind of, you lost the feeling. Right, you're just kind of running it down your leg. Yep. It feels like you're like pushing the grip down into the ground. Yep. Back before. So when the left arm is parallel, right? Your club is here, and we want it to be 90 degrees. Yep. Right, and see here now when we talk about this at the gym, see how your body like is done. Yeah. The club hasn't traveled very far, but your body has traveled very far. So you need to feel like the club is traveling a lot and your body's not traveling very much, right? So now when you go here, it's going to hinge a lot better. So see left arm parallel, right? Shaft is set. And then that would be the top, right? Yeah. And then you can see now the club when your hands are at your leg, see the club is set. Whereas here it comes down, hands at the leg, and you can see it's dumped out because that elbow gets trapped. Oh, right? So now you can lean the shaft, whereas here you throw it. Muy bien. Essentially, when your left arm gets parallel, you're trying to get nearly matched up with the Golf Academy sign, right?
Yep.
But I mean, that's way better than what it was. It was here.
Yeah.
And then, like, see, at this stage, it's like you're already starting down, and then that's gonna what sets the club, right? But see, that's better. And it's lean better. See that?